Hi, this is Adam Chad Cowman, painter of cows and bovines in general. This is day 4 of my commitment to improve my fundamental skills in drawing and painting to get to a new level. Um, Today, what I'm working on is I'm working on a new version of this. You might notice I don't have my shirt on there, and I thought, that's not really serving the composition. So I've decided I'm going to put an artist smock. I'm going to do a new version of that painting, but I'm going to put this smock on there. And right now, I started doing the sketch. I've been using graphite and one of these blending stumps, which works pretty good. There's a couple of things I need to change. First, I got this area wrong in here. Shoulder doesn't go way up there. It's down here. Giving myself far too much credit as far as deltoid development. Yeah, it's interesting because I work out every day and I try and stay in good shape. That's mostly because I've gotten older and I've developed difficulties like everybody does. And so I try to go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. I do calisthenics and weightlifting, but the reason I bring that up is because it's the same deal with art. To get good at art, for me, some people are naturally gifted at art. I'm not. I need to work at it. Every day there's certain things I have to work on if I go to the gym and I want to develop my deltoids. There's 3 or 4 exercises I need to do. And to develop drawing, I need to work on the fundamentals like I talked about yesterday. I need to work on shape, line, value. Here I'm working on value right there. And composition. And so right now I need to decide. I brought this along far enough, I think, that I need to make a decision. Where am I going to make the focal point? So this is 12 inches. So if I divide that in 3, following the law of 3, right here's somewhere around in here is where the focal point might be, right there. And let me see, it's 6 inches high, so 2 inches. So this area right here could be a focal point, or in proximity. What I've learned from studying paintings is often the focal point, not often, every time, the focal point has high contrast. So I could make this curtain back here black. High contrast, and almost without fail, there's a red. There's something in there that's red. So I could put maybe red hair or a red dot, something to that effect in there. I can cut off this area, try and create some more contrast. So once I have the focal point defined, what I want to do when I start painting this is on a canvas. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get it penciled in work it all out with pencil, and then I can spray fix it over it, or hairspray. And then I'm going to paint just black and white and get all the values. And values are something I'm trying to work on to get to that next level. So now what I want to do is I want to try and use my pencil, use values, use shape to lead the eye. Take the eye on a journey towards this focal point right there. This hand. One thing I wanted to share, one of the reasons I like cows is I grew up reading this comic by Gary Larson called The Far Side, and a lot of his comics have cows in them. He draws cows doing human type of things. I always thought that was so funny. Well, there it goes again, and we just sit here without opposable thumbs. Ring. Hey, they want to pick up that phone, but they can't because they don't have a thumb. So that got into my mind when I was growing up. The idea that somebody would draw a cow talking like a human being was just hilarious to me. I grew up in a city. I grew up in Denver, Colorado. And when I was growing up there, it was literally called a cow town. Not because there were cows around, but it was very small compared to larger cities like New York City or Chicago. So a lot of people referred to Denver as a cow town. I really didn't see too many cows when I was growing up, but now I've moved to a different state. I live out in the country, and when I go into town, I have to go into town to buy groceries and shop, see the doctor, things like that. And I always pass by cows. There's cows everywhere. To me, they're just so they're such gentle, peaceful animals. They're beautiful to me. I would like to, I wish I could have a cow as a pet, but obviously I don't think that's possible. So maybe the next best thing I can do is paint a cow. So I can create a value shape right here. Dark black. I can make the eye black. When I paint it, I'll have this maybe pure white. I don't know. I can make the ear white. The further I get away from the focal point, the more blurred I want the lines to be. Lines here are very crisp. So the head of the cow is definitely the focal point. And to get more specific, forehead right there. I keep seeing in my imagination a swirl of red hair. Yeah. There, right there. I'll just have some red hair coming up. So right here it will be white. That will be, my darkest dark will be right there, black. And then I'll have red. And so this, see, even in the background I can create contours. This line right there can point up to the focal point, and in the background I can continue this line in the background even though they're two separate things. I don't want a lot of contrast down here. Blur things up a bit. I can even curve the beard up a little, tip of the beard. This. This is a strong line. This is a thumb. I'm holding a palette right there. That might not be very clear. But I don't think it really matters. Over here, I'm just going to try and suggest. There's a strong line right there that can lead up to the focal point. When I paint it, I can take brush strokes and blur like that. Here I can blur. Now it's starting to, it's definitely starting, all the lines are leading. What's that famous quote by Shakespeare, I think it is? All roads lead to Rome. So my painting here, the basic composition, all roads lead to the cow's head. Even up here, I can make these strings that hold the curtain up, I can make them curving like that. Blurred, a lot of blur, a lot of blurry stuff over here. Underneath all of this are just shapes and lines. There's a circle right here, a circle there, a circle there, sphere here, line. swine. The great thing about following the principles of art is the paintings and the drawings create themselves when I follow the principles of art. Before I learned the basic principles of composition, I never would have thought to make this a focal point, and the entire painting or drawing it wouldn't look good. I would stop. I'd get frustrated. But now I'm inspired. I'm interested. A good artist to me, whether it's Leonardo da Vinci or Pablo Picasso or Rembrandt or a commercial artist who designs posters or billboards, the difference between a good artist and, I can't say not a bad artist. I think all art is good, but they follow the principles, basic principles of art. I don't know about that. That's interesting because I darken the brush and it seems to pull it forward, but at the same time it points towards the focal point. So that's a decision I can make when I start painting. When I begin to paint it, I start to see, I don't see an arm here, I don't see a smock or a palette. What I see is I see a shape right there. This is a dark value, that it's a shape that points in that direction. This is a shape that can lead. Yes, I like that. This is a shape right here that can lead the eye down here. And this shape points back up. Blur. Well, that's enough for now. I just want to thank you for looking at my video. If you made your way through it, I'm Adam Chad Cowman, painter of cows and bovines in general. This is the end of day 4. Thank you.